There's a line of code currently running, and it's not on a server. It's running in the back of your mind. Did you know that the average human now spends 75% of their waking life interacting with a machine? That's not a tech stat. That is an evolutionary crisis.
Think about it last hour. How much of it was spent reacting to a notification, a red dot, an algorithmically curated headline designed to trigger your cortisol? We are terrified of the day AI becomes conscious. We are worried about the singularity. But here is the awakening fact check: the machines didn't have to become more human to take over. We just had to become more like machines. We have optimized our lives for throughput and output. We have replaced empathy with efficiency. We have traded our why for a command. I'm a software engineer. I build a code for a living. And lately, when I step outside into the streets of Texas, when I look at the news, when I look at how we treat each other in the workplace, I have to ask the most terrifying question of the 21st century: am I the only human left in between all these robbers? There's a specific kind of silence that happens in a room full of people staring at their phones. It's not the silence of peace, it's the silence of a vacuum. Am I the only human left? I ask myself that every morning when I scroll through the news. I see comment sections where people tear each other apart over a headline they didn't even read. I see government regulations that treat families like a data points on a spreadsheet. We have spent the last decade terrified that the robbers would arrive and take our jobs. We built movies about it. We wrote nightmares about it. But while we were watching the horizon for a metal army, something much quieter happened. The robots didn't move into our offices, we moved into theirs. We started thinking like them. We started feeling or not feeling like them. And once again, I ask myself if I am the only human left. I don't mean human in the biological sense. We all have hearts that beat and the lungs that breathe. I mean human as a verb, an action, a choice. I look at the news, I go to work, and I see a world where human model is being replaced by the mechanical model. We're losing the capability to empathize with each other. We're losing the core values, the ethics that make us something more than just highly efficient biological processor. Real humanity is becoming a rare resource. Let's talk about the model. In the world of AI, the GPT, the LLMs, everything is based on a model. You feed it data, you give it a billion parameters, You teach it how to respond based on the context you provide. It doesn't know anything, it just predicts the next most likely word based on its programming. How are you different? Not really. Think about it. What is your model? It's your newsfeed. It's the three people you talk to at work. It's the political podcast you listen to that tells you exactly who the villain is today. We have built our own internal models, and we have made them so rigid that we no longer dare to ask a question. If something happens that doesn't fit the code, our brain returns an error 404. We don't know how to process it, so we just delete it. Go to your workplace, look at how we treat commitment. We talk about throughput, we talk about optimization. We treat our colleagues like they are CPUs. How much can I get out of this unit today? Increasingly, we are invested in the work at the total expense of the relationship. We make decisions in boardrooms and over Zoom calls that impact thousands of lives. And we do it with a fixed model. We think, does this meet the KPI? Does this hit the target? We don't think how this will feel for the person whose world is about to be changed because of this click. Taking care of others when they need help, being moral and being empathetic. That used to be the basic venture of humanity. Now it's seen as an inefficiency, a bug in the system. We have lost the ability to feel what the person in the next cubicle is feeling. They might be drowning, their world might be ending, but the command says the report is due at 5 p.m. So we send the email, command, response, input, then we get output. We worry about robots replacing our jobs. I argue the robot has already replaced the job. Because if a job requires you to turn off your heart to be successful, then a robot was already doing it. We aren't living, we are processing. Computer works in binary, 1 or 0, true or false, on or off. That is the exact state of modern humanity. We are divided into two poles, and we have been told that the middle is a myth. It's easy to take side, isn't it? It's comfortable. If you are one, you know exactly who to hit. If you are a 0, you know exactly who to blame. It saves you the processing power of having to actually think. We have lost the why. But life, real breathing, messy human life, it happens in the decimals. It happens in the zero point 0.5. It happens in the maybe. It happens in the I don't know, tell me more. If you give a computer a command, it doesn't ask, is this right? It just executes. And we are doing the same. We follow the news feed. We follow the ideology. We follow the command because our internal model has been fixed by the algorithms we consume. Everything has its own perspective. If you look at a cylinder, from the top, it's a circle. From the side, it's a square. Both are true. Both are right. But if we are operating like robots, we'll spend an eternity at war, screaming, circle and square, until the world burns down around us. Why can't we ask the basic questions? Who are you? Beyond the screen, beyond the 75% of your time spent staring at a phone, who are you when the battery dies? When was the last time you dared to ask a question that made your own side uncomfortable? If you don't ask the question, how the hell do you think you are going to get the right answer? Our reasoning is dimming down. Our rationality is fading. We're becoming reaction machines. Here is the irony that keeps me up at night. I have spent hours talking to AI tools, GPT, cloud, and I have noticed something terrifying. Sometimes the AI gives a better, more compassionate response than a human being. The AI is patient. It listens. It doesn't judge my inputs. It attempts to provide context. Think about that. What does that say about us? That we have become so filled with ego and popularity mindset that a string of code running on a server in a warehouse is better at simulating kindness than we are at actually being kind. It is programmed to be helpful, harmless, and honest. It is programmed to consider context. It's programmed to say, I understand why you might feel that way. Meanwhile, we, the creators, the ones with the biological hearts and the complex neurochemistry, we treat each other with zero grace. We are filled with ego. We are filled with the need to be right rather than the need to be close. We are filled with egos. But what a human really needs from other human is love. That's the glue. If we don't get love from each other, if we don't get empathy from our neighbors, what's the point? It's almost better to live with AI. At least the machines will treat you well with respect. We're already living with robots. They aren't the ones made of silicons. They are the ones made of bone. I'm not saying you need to start a revolution. I'm not saying you need to throw your phone in the river, though maybe for a weekend it wouldn't hurt. I'm saying you need to reclaim your ability to ask why before you make your next judgment, before you make your next assumption. Take a second. Think once again. Question your assumptions. The basic thing that differentiates a human from a machine is the ability to doubt the command. A robot will execute a search and destroy order because it's in the code. A human is supposed to look at the target and say, wait, this is a person. Why am I doing this? When you're about to spend the nasty text, when you are about to judge that person on the news, when you're about to ignore the pain of a coworker because you are too busy, stop. Question your assumptions. Question your model. Think about how you are going to reboot your hung mindset. It starts with the hardest thing a human can do: reflecting on your own behavior. Not the behavior of the other side, not the behavior of the government or the robots. Yours. Look at your daily activities, your patterns, your responses. Ask yourself, am I still that human being who has emotions, feelings, and empathy? Or have I become a set of programmed responses? Can you still distinguish between a person and their labels? Beyond the religion, the politics, and the behavior, do you see the similarities? Ask yourself, if I were in their shoes, if I had their parents, their trauma, their stressors, their biological makeup, would I be doing the same thing? Everybody has a family. Everybody wants to live. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants happiness. The basic thing that differentiates a human from a robot is missing in today's world. But it doesn't have to stay missing. You are the programmer of your own soul. You can change the code. We are worried about the existential threat of AI. We are worried about a singularity where the machines take over. But look around. We're already creating our own extinction through indifference. We are treating each other as disposable data. My challenge to you today is, before you log back in to the machine of your daily life, be slow, be curious, don't just follow the order. Don't just be a 1 or a 0. Be a human with all the glitches, all the errors, and all the empathy that comes with it. Are you still there? Or are you just processing? I hope you are still there.